Good morning. Good morning, Sue. Good morning, Marianne. Give it a couple of minutes to notify people. Good morning, Cheryl. Yes, thank goodness it's Friday. Hi, Louise. I'm going to play the intro and we'll get started. I know some people had some things. We were all watching Miss Rita this morning, so they'll be popping in soon, hopefully. Hey, Mary Lou. Hey, Christine. Hey, Carol. Good to see you. Haven't seen you in a while. Okay, guys, this is our Friday file, which is actually our Thursday file because I took a me day yesterday. Thank you guys for understanding and allowing me. Hi, Judy. Hey, Cheryl. Yes, yes, I am a Miss Rita supporter. I love Miss Rita. And I don't have all the details yet. Rita and I are working on it, guys. But tomorrow she plans to do a Zoom at 6 o'clock. And once she gets me that link, I will be sharing it with those that she allows me to share it with. Probably my Patreon supporters and my admin. I don't know if I will share it publicly in the groups, but I will share it to those with her permission. So once we have all the details worked out, I am going to be joining her on her Zoom, and we're going to see if we can get a special guest appearance from someone. So we're just going to be playing around with some Dreaming Tree free files. Free files from Dreaming Tree. We're going to be playing around with those. Maybe Cheryl can help me remember. She was there this morning. I think the cat bag was one, and maybe Leo's cake. I know I did the cake box from Design Space, but there's one with a cherry on it over there. I think that was another one. And there were a few of them. If somebody can remember which one she said we were going to do, but I plan to just cut mine and whichever project I do. I don't know that I will do all the projects, but I'm just going to cut one or two, and I will play around and see what we come up with on those. So, hi, Rocky. And yeah, that's at 6 o'clock Saturday. I don't know. Is Miss Rita Eastern time? Does anybody know? Hey, Rami. Yeah, we're going to do that. And my plans are punching up the Dreaming Tree file with doing some embossing, maybe embossing folders and heat embossing, but I don't know yet. I don't know what I'm going to do because I don't know which project I'm going to do. Yes, I have a link tree, and there is a link to Dreaming Tree in that link tree. Just simply click on it, and it will take you over there. Let me show that real quick. Let me pull it up so that you guys will know what we're talking about. And pop over to, that's today's project. I already got my print and cuts in there. If you go to my link tree, you can see the link up here. Let me see if I can get that into chat here in just a second. I will. It's also in the video description, the link to this. But you can come down. It's all in alphabetical order. And Dreaming Tree right here. It's actually 3dsvg.com. But you can come in, and they have all sorts of stuff. I'm just going to close that out. I'm not going to log in. But he has tons of free files. So you can go in and grab the free files that he does. Lots of beautiful, beautiful work. Love those. Let's see. See if I can get to the free page. There we go. Click here to shop. Categories. I haven't been over here in a while. He changed the site, and I've got my window squished to fit on the other thing. View all. But it's going to be a really, really fun event. So you can come in here and you can look. He has tons of tags in here for all different holidays. I don't know where the free moved to, but let's see. I type free. There it is, right here. Free SVG files, right at the top. So, yeah, she pointed out this one right here, this cake one, if I can remember. Oh, that jukebox is cute, too. Let's go to another page. I got my windows. Oh, I love that. I may pick something a little different from what Miss Rita picks. And that'll be fun, too. So we can do different things. There's a doggy bag. There's also a kitty bag in there. I don't remember which card she said she was going to do. But lots of fun. You guys go in and look at them. Yeah, the cake and the doggy bag, Cheryl. I know that there was a kitty bag, too, that she mentioned. I think that was one of her faves. But it's in there. I love that watermelon box. Love it. Oh, look at the bunny napkin holders. I didn't see that. Those look fun. But Leo has great number of free files, beautiful files, and we are going to be showing you guys how to use his files and uploading and all of that kind of stuff. You can't wait to, oh yeah, the box and the record player. The Bloom and Grow card, I think that was it, Rocky. The Bloom and Grow card. So you can go in there and search and pull those up. And you don't have to do, I don't guess, the ones that Rita and I are doing, but we were just mentioning which ones we were going to do. So again, you can just pop over to Linktree and you can get that in there. Let me get over here. You can see this is kind of weird. So let me get that back over out of the way. And I can't post my link unless I'm on that page. And that is the link right there to that link tree. So everything you need is in one place. Yes, he has a video for every single project he does. I missed it. It was at the top, Mary Lou. Yeah. But there's just so many. You can go in and pick, like I said, make what we're making or make what she's making. Pick one of your own. We're just going to have a collab session. Just to have some fun. It depends, Judy. Older files, I'm going to say, yeah. Newer files, they've worked with them a little bit. So, but I understand why he does them that way. And that is so they don't bog down your design space on upload. Because if your file is too big, I don't know if you guys have noticed this. I've had some PNGs that were really big and they wouldn't upload. And that is why if you get your file too big, your SVG or your PNG files are too big, they don't upload. It will just cut it off. Like it gives an error message of some sort. Large file, too large, something like that. But I don't know if Cricut has changed that, but it used to do it frequently. So you just have to be careful with those. Oh, yeah, I love Dreamy Tree. And there's also SVG cuts. She has some beautiful files over there. Mary does. She has some great files on SVG cuts. There are several. I like Cadoodlebug. I like Lori Whitlock. I like some of the ones that I really like are like KB Riley. Those are dies, but if you watch them put it together, if you want to do the math and try to figure everything out and put your shapes in and do a lot of test cutting, you can create your own file. You don't have to have dies, but I do that frequently. I look at how they put things together and I guesstimate and make it my own size. It probably doesn't match their size, but I still have a similar file. So you can do those too. You had to reduce the file of digital paper to get it to load. Yes, some of them you do. And if you have to do that, my suggestion, Mary Lou, is either print it outside of Design Space and just cut your pattern from it or your image from it, or upload it like I did here. I had an issue. I can just upload it here and then bring it into Design Space and add it to my canvas, and it's going to come in like 25 inches. And then you can just kind of shrink it down to 12, and that'll give you a 12-inch or 11.5. That's what we can print. But it doesn't really matter what size you make it, because you can make it whatever size as long as your piece is going to fit on it to slice, and you can slice from it. You can go in and get, well, let's see. I can duplicate that, and then I can just come in here and slice that image from it and get another one. So that's one way to do it, but you are limited on it. It's different with pattern fill, because pattern fill you can adjust the size of your pattern, and with this you're kind of limited on how to adjust it. You can only do so much with it. And just work with it and get what you think might be right for your card. So, I mean, there are several ways to do it if your file is too large. So, that's an option. Digital pattern files. This one that I did is from Creative Fabrica. Also in that link tree, there's a link to Creative Fabrica. And this file is called Gingham and Polka Dots. And it has like 8 colors in it. It has the mint, the pink, a yellow, a chocolate brown, I think a purple, and a blue. There are several in there. And I've been using it all week, so you guys will get plenty of use out of it if you use the same thing I've used. You just go into Paint and resized it. Yeah, you can do that too. Yeah, Creative Fabrica, Design Bundles, they all have digital patterns. Let's just pop over and take a look. I still have my link tree up. Let's go to Creative, where I got this one, so you guys, Creative Fabrica. And right here, and I just go in and I searched, digital paper, and then I put Gingham and Polka. Oops. And then it will bring up everything they have. And this is the file I used right here. This one right here. So you have your blue, your pink, your mint, your yellow, and your brown. And then you have the check and the coordinating. Now this one is one, but it's all polka dots. So, I mean, just tons of stuff. The main thing that I look for is 300 DPI. That's dots per inch, and that's how many dots of ink per inch it's going to print that give you that clarity. The second thing I look for, and I don't always have to have it because I don't always need a piece that's going to be seamless. And what seamless does is like your wallpaper. If you line up one edge to the other edge, it matches. So that's what seamless is. But I don't always have to have seamless because, like I said, my pieces aren't always large enough to need a seamless in it. But if you can get it to upload as a pattern, let me just show you here. I'm going to duplicate that so I don't mess it up. When you upload it as a pattern, if patterns will load today, and they did, when you upload it as a pattern, you have more control over the sizing, but you see that double white line and that double pink line that's down the middle of it? That is tiled, okay? And the only way to work with that, and that's because this is not a seamless pattern, number one. Well, it could be, but you can play with it and match it up. But you have to play with your horizontal and your, that's 101, let's go to 125. I'm trying to move that dark pink line out with my horizontal because I don't want that to show up on my design, and I don't want that double white line to show up. If it was seamless, I don't think you would have that. Okay, so now my pink one is coming back up over here, so I'm just going to bump it back over and get rid of it. And if that doesn't get rid of it, you can also change your sizing. And when you change your sizing, you're just going to go back and move your horizontal again. And then the same thing with vertical, okay? So let me do 100 on that. Oops. Let me do minus 100 on that. I'm trying to get it up to the top there. And you're just going to click on your step buttons here to move it. And you see that I made it bigger or smaller there. And I've got 2 now. So I want to come up and get it bigger. So you're just going to mess with the scale until you get it like you want it. There we go. So lots of fun. You can go in there and, like I said, you have more control over what the piece will look like with the pattern fill than you do with slicing. So super easy and simple. I got it pretty close to this one. But I love digital paper. This is the thing, guys, especially if you have a small craft room. Like me, I had to downsize when I went to this apartment, so I'm in a 10 by 10 room. I don't have to stock every color of paper in the universe and all those pattern books. Those are great. I love them because I'm a paper hoarder. But those paper stacks, I buy a couple of them occasionally at Christmas and stuff like that. But I have stopped buying them because I can use digital paper and get whatever look I want using my white paper and just printing it. Because in my small craft area, I already have a printer and I can restock the ink and keep some on hand that doesn't take up much space to stock ink. And then you can also just buy white paper and you in different weights, and you can print and cut everything that you need. So that gets rid of all the paper stacks that take up so much room in a craft room, right? So that is one of the biggest advantages of digital paper. One of the biggest advantages of digital paper. Now, that being said, there are some specialty papers that I see like it close to my heart or Stampin' Up, and I will buy a pack of those and use those and incorporate them. But generally, all of my patterns now I print and cut because I'm limited on size. And I just buy the white papers and I can make it whatever I want. So when you see those specialty papers, just buy a pack to get you through your project. And the rest of it you can use digital on. Like, I love my, close to my heart, my Stampin' Up, like my vellums. You can't print vellum. Well, you can print on vellum, but like the flocked vellums and specialty papers they have, those you can't really print. Your foiled papers, things like that, those are the ones that I buy, but regular cardstock papers, I prefer to print. You do have a larger variety, and you, like I said, you can just print what you need as you need it. So, hi, Loretta. Right? Long time no see. So this is what we're doing today, and I did a mock-up yesterday to show you some of the kind of do's and don'ts with stamping and embossing in your Cricut and writing. So the first one that I did, and the one that you see in the photos that I posted, I embossed the inside, even though I knew that was a no-no. I embossed the inside and I embossed this outside. And I was okay with the outside of it, and I also did the bow, which I knew I wasn't going to like, but I did it anyway. So I did all of this and embossed it. I even embossed the bunnies and made them shiny. So, right, you can also change the color of your digital papers like Marianne said. Once you get experienced with it, you can take it in there and do that. So, I embossed several pieces on this. Today, I'm going to put one together, but we're going to do it just a little bit differently so that I can show you the differences and you can compare and you can decide, do I want my Cricut to write this or do I not want my Cricut to write this? And it's all going to depend on your card, what the occasion is, and how you're going to be using it. How long to dry? Seconds, Cheryl. I mean, my digital paper comes out dry when I print it. And for embossing, it dries in seconds. So let's pop overhead. And here's the one I did last night. And you can see that bow looks kind of messy. And that's because the embossing pens, when you use them in the Cricut to draw, and it's nothing against Cricut, this is just the nature of embossing pens. And because it has embossing ink in it for you to for your embossing powders to stick to. And they're quite thick and heavy, okay? And it's fine for my sentiment here. Loved how that came out. It was perfect. Didn't like how it came out on the bow. Can see how, see if I can get that up there. You can see how that kind of ran together on the S and stuff like that. And that's because it's such a bold tip on those embossing pens. But here's another thing. When you're using 80-pound cardstock, you chance this. So I used the black pen on the inside so I could see it, which I know is a no-no. So if you're going to use 80-pound cardstock, you always want to use your clear embossing pen to do this. That way when you put your black embossing powder on it, you'll have the black on the inside and it won't bleed through. So if you're new to embossing powders, you need to make sure that you are using a clear pen for the inside of your cards. Or on things like vellum, it won't matter. But for something like this, you'll want to make sure that always use clear if there's a chance that it may show through to the other side, or if the other side of that project is going to be visible. If it's on the front of this, it doesn't matter because another panels are going to go behind it. You're not going to see it. So if you want to use the black one on that, that's perfectly fine. Okay, and another time that you would use the black embossing pen is if you only have clear embossing powder and you want this black sentiment, you would use a black embossing pen and put the clear over it. You'll still get the same look, but it will be black because of the pen. Okay. I have an Epson. It's an older one, Joyce. It's a 720, which is discontinued. It's a monster. A lot of people use it for sublimation, but I use mine for regular everyday print until it dies, and then I will probably go with a Canon. So there are several that you can use. Let me just pull my window back because I can't. Let me get you. Let me read you. This is what Marianne and I came up with for printers. And I like to tell everybody this. Any printer will work, but laser materials can be limited. So if you pick a laser printer, you can be limited on the materials that you can use because laser is heat and it can damage some materials. So many people opt for an inkjet. Some craft materials are thicker, like some labels and stickers or 110-pound cardstocks, things like that. So if your printer has to go if you're going to be using heavyweight materials and it has to go around a roller, it's going to jam. But if you have a printer that has a rear feed or what they call a pass-through feed, then you can load that material into the back. And that's what I do with my Epson. I have a print and cut profile set up, and it automatically knows to use the rear feed, so I can put my cardstock or sticker paper or whatever in there, and it will accept that thicker material and doesn't take it around the roller, so it doesn't jam up. Okay, and there's a link there to Best Buy to some of the Canon printers that Marianne picked out. So if you want to take a look at those, because the Epson that I use is discontinued. If you can find one, most people have used them and transferred them over to sublimation printers. So finding one that has not been swapped or used is going to be extremely lucky. Okay. Right? Yes, you could use those as well, Loretta. If you already have some paper that's printed, by all means, you can use it. However, I did set, and you can set this up for print and cut and do one piece, but I did 3 layers, so it depends on what you want to do. Okay. You have the rear feed Canon, so yeah, that's a good choice. I tried I'm not knocking HP because I used to be an HP Hewlett-Packard diehard fan with their computers and their printers. Love them. However, the last 2 printers I got from them, since I think they had a printer called a PhotoSmart. This was years ago. A PhotoSmart, and it was fantastic. But my belt broke on it, and it was discontinued. So I tried 2 other HPs after that, and I didn't have any luck. And I tried a Kodak, and I had no luck with it. So I like Epson. I like Canon. And it's just going to depend on what you're doing with your printer. If you don't do a lot of heavy stuff, that HP should work perfectly fine. But mine kept jamming. It wouldn't take the materials. We did not look at wide format printers at the time, Marianne, because we didn't have wide format printing. So if you want to recommend one, that would be great. If you want to see if you can find one, and I will get a link for it and post that up for them. Marianne is my printer guru. So, oops, I just knocked off my heat gun. I had to turn on my fan here for a minute. Right, Judy. Yeah. I mean, I love the look of the HP in my craft room and the sizes of them, but they just would not take my papers and my sticker papers and stuff. They just kept sliding and jamming, or it would pick up the thinner stuff. It would pick up like 3 sheets. And so I was just having too much trouble with them. But I mean, if they're working for you and you have one, that's great. That's fantastic. Keep using it. So we've gone over the cards, so let's go over a little bit of stuff here. Now, I decided that I'm going to show you guys the difference in using the pen for the Cricut to write. And let me just go over the pens real quick before I forget. I told you could get the Recollections or the Rangers. And here are the Recollection pens. And you get 3 in a pack. I think it was right around $5. You get an embossing pen brush, which you cannot use in your Cricut. It is a brush tip, and your Cricut has too much pressure. It will bend it, okay? But it comes in very handy when you need to do touch-ups. So it's a great thing to have, that brush tip. Then you have the medium embossing pen, and it's clear. I'm just going to show you guys. You can see that oily look there, okay? So we have that one on there. And let me just show you the brush tip too, and I'll show you how they show up. So I got my brush tip, and that's great for touching up areas, especially on a project like we have today. And then in that set, you have the broad tip, okay? And that is that one. So you can get 3 different looks out of those embossing pens. Now the Ranger pens comes in a set, and they even have a gray. I'm going to do the Ranger. This is equal to the one I just did from the Recollections. These are exactly the same size as your Cricut pens. Let me just pop over to machine. I have some things over here, but you're just going to open up. Did it pop over to the machine? Let's see. There we go. Fits right in without any issue. Let me see. Can you guys see that? Had to pull my machine. Simply just pop it right in just like you do your Cricut pens. Fits in there without a problem. Okay? All your Recollections pens. And then you have your black embossing pen. I'm just going to... And that's the black one. And it also fits the same way. As a matter of fact, the Ranger and the Michaels have the same caps on them. So I'm just gonna throw some embossing powder on here just so you guys can see. Yeah, I'll just do the black embossing. This is Nouveau embossing powder. What you use is totally up to you. Oops, don't want to do that. My fan is on and it just blew that stuff everywhere. But you can see you're just going to shake your embossing powder out on it. Okay. And I did not use my anti-static bag. I actually got a better... Oops, let me switch back over. There we go. I just shook this powder out. I'm going to show you guys this again so you're not going to miss anything. I didn't use my anti-static powder on there. And so I got some residue. But I actually got a better liquid out of my Michaels. And it may be because my Ranger one is older. But it's not as juicy. So I got a better ink layout from that one. And I just use a piece of folded paper. And you're going to put that stuff back in the jar. And I've got an old makeup brush here that the thing came off of. And so I just used pliers and mashed it down, and now I use it in my craft room. So I'm going to make sure you get that completely clean because you don't want to contaminate your powders. There's my lid. I lost my cap. I'm going to set that to the side so I don't spill that. Make sure your fans, all of those things are off before you get started on this. That being said, you're going to need a heat gun for this. I bought this one at Michael's because my Close to My Heart one was lost in the flood. So I bought this one at Recollections because I needed one, and I used it once last night and it almost caught on fire and was smoking and set off my alarms. I'm not going to recommend it. It may be a fluke thing, but if it happened to me, it could happen to you. So I rushed out last night and went and got a Wagner. You can find these in the paint section at Walmart. This was like 26 bucks. I think the Recollections one was around 20. So this is what you want. And you don't want to use a hairdryer. A hairdryer can blow that stuff everywhere, okay? You do get a little bit of wind out of these, but not much. If you get the Close to My Heart one, you won't get that wind. You want to turn it on and let it heat up for a second, and then you just want to come over and start heating. I'm going to try to get close so you guys can see. It will start to liquefy and bubble. I like to heat from the back as well. See if we can capture that happening on camera. There you go. You see how it changed? See that? How it liquefies? And that's how you set the embossing powders. I'm just going to make sure I got all of these. Be very careful, the tips of those can be. But you can see how they kind of liquefied from a powder, and they're nice and shiny. You want to give them a minute to set. Don't touch them until they're cool, because it's plastic and it will burn you. But it only takes seconds to let it cool. And now you have this kind of raised plastic glossy impression on there. Okay? Hi, Diana. So, lots of fun. I'm sorry you're not feeling well, Kathy. I hope you feel better soon. So, very easy to use embossing powders. All right. So, the first thing that you want to be aware of is when you're using your inks, you need special inks, or not really special inks, but specific types of inks for doing embossing. You can use the Versamark, or you can use a pigment ink. This is a hybrid. These are Nuvo. This is a hybrid ink. And that is kind of a different, you can use your alcohol markers, all sorts of things with this. It's waterproof and smudge proof. And you can also use it for heat setting, like with your printables. The Versamark is basically the same thing as your pens. It's just clear. Okay? It's just clear ink. All right, and that's what I use for my bunnies. I'm going to use my stamp, and this is an old stamp from close to my heart, for my, this is in my way. Let's scoot that back. This is an old close to my heart stamp that I'm going to use on the front of this, and I do use my Joy Mad and my Misty. And I'm just going to bring my panel right here. And any of the stamping tools will work for this. And I'm going to do the Let's Celebrate. Okay? But I don't want to do the word let's. But I'm not going to go into masking and doing all that today. So I'm just going to go ahead and go for it. I'm just going to bring it over because this one's slightly smaller than what I had on the canvas for Cricut. And I'm just going to pick that stamp up. And I'm using the Nuvo Sliced Strawberry. And I'm just going to ink up my stamp. And I'm going to press that. I'm going to get my clear. That's white. Don't want that one. I just had my clear. I know I did. Here it is. I'm going to be using my clear embossing powder on that because I'm using a colored ink and I want that color to pop through. This, when you're using inks, if you use a pigmented ink, you can use it. Pigmented ink. Dye inks will dry too fast. Dye inks will dry too fast. You won't be able to use them. I'm just going to pull that up. You want to make sure anything that you have that's sticky, like your mats, any enamel dots, anything like that, you want to make sure that it is out of your way. Because if you get this powder on there, it's going to stick to it, and then it won't be sticky. And I forgot to use my embossing bag again. But that's okay, I'm using clear, it won't show. It's very important to use an embossing bag or a dryer sheet or something like that, because you have powders that will stick on these outside edges if you don't. I have a little bitty teeny tiny wire brush, or not a wire brush, but painter's brush. This is called an angular number 12/0, and I got this at Hobby Lobby, and I just use it so I can go in here, especially if I'm using like a black embossing powder, so you can go in there and clean up anywhere that powder sticks that you don't want it. Okay, once you have the powder on, you can take your time. You just want to get that powder onto the surface of the ink so that it sticks. Once you have the powder on there, you can ink up and do several pieces and powder them and then heat them all at once. And you can see that that's kind of dull there with that clear powder. I'm just going to turn my heat gun on and let it warm up for a second. And then I'm just going to heat from the back, heat from the front. And look how bright and vibrant that got. Okay, I'm going to give it a second to cool. And it's done. And you can see how clean and fun that is. See that shine? So, I mean, I have that shine over here. I'm happy with this one too. Let's see if I can get it to shine for you guys. There we go. Some lights on it. So it depends on the look that you want. Okay? You don't have to have your Cricut write everything, but if you want to use the pens, that's the way to go. If you don't want to have to store stamps, you can do it. And I did use the big bold tip on this one because I wanted to go as bold as I could. You will get a cleaner, smaller look if you use that medium point from Michaels instead of the big bold one. Okay, so I've got that piece done. Let's now work on our bunnies. And I was going to do, I did my bow in silver just so you guys could see, but I actually wanted to do a fabric bow. I just did one to show you guys you can do it that way as well. So here is my card base, which I just had my Cricut write on the inside there. There's my bunnies. But you can see how the bow come out with the silver. It's pretty, but it just wasn't the look that I wanted for the card. So I'll use that probably on something else. I'll throw that in my stash of dies. All right, so let's set these pieces to the side. And I just want my bunnies. I had an extra, yeah, you can use an extra card base. I forgot to stick my pen in, so I ended up with an extra base. And it comes in handy for dumping your stuff. In the static bag, I try to keep it away from everything. They just look like this. You can use cornstarch, whatever you want, but you're just going to rub it over your cardstock before you stamp, okay? Which I didn't do on that other one, but I'm using clear, so it was okay. But if you're using a silver or a black and you don't do that, you can get a little bit of a mess going on and have to brush off tons of stuff. But I'm just going to use this. And we're going to do our Versa ink right here. I keep misplacing everything. I just had that clear powder. We're going to be using the clear embossing powder again. And I've got my little printables, and I'm just going to take them and put them down on the ink pad. You can put them on a surface and dab the ink pad on them, but you want to make sure they're coated. If not, you can use your brush and come back and get them later. So I'm just sticking them on there and getting some ink. And like I said, it's just clear ink, and you can see that it will be shiny. So you'll know if you have any dull spots or missed spots, it will show. He looks like he's pretty coated. So now I have the ink on those. And this is going to make them pop up off the page a little bit more. And I'm just going to put some embossing powder on them. It doesn't matter. You can put a lot. You can put a little. It's just going to go back in the jar. Okay. So then you're going to need, for these pieces, you're going to need some tweezers. Okay. I'm just going to say you're going to need them just so you can hold them and heat them. And I know that it's not going to put any embossing powder where my tweezers are, and I will show you how I fix that. So you're just going to heat them up same way until you see them change, because you can see that that's all matte-like now. It's not very, very bright, vibrant, but let's heat it up. And it will curl a little bit, but that's okay. It'll straighten back out. And you're just going to make sure that that gets good and heated and everything gets nice and shiny again. Okay? Let's see if I can get it to pick up. nice and shiny. Give it just a second to cool. I mean, that's how quick. All right, and you can see right here, see that dull spot? That's where my tweezers were. So I'm just going to take my embossing brush pen, and it's going to be the last one I pick up right there. And I'm just going to go right there where my tweezers were. And I'm going to dip it in that powder, and then we're just going to reheat it. Right there on his tail. You want to kind of concentrate. You don't want to really reheat your other powder if you can avoid it. So now we have the whole piece. All right, and I'm just going to repeat that. And like I said, it cools pretty quick. So let's grab the other one. Doesn't matter where you grab it, you're going to go back and fix where your grasp was at. No, I have never had it run, Marianne. These are printed. I printed these. Printed them right on my printer with the rest of my print and cut. No, you don't want to heat. You want to make sure you, whatever you use for this, that it can take the heat. These heat guns get really hot. Really, really hot. Okay? Because this is like sand, and you're basically heating this up and melting it. You're melting it on the front. It is so cool. I wish my camera would pick it up, but when you're doing this, you will see it will. It's like it's all dull, and then like in a flash, it's all shiny. It's really, really cool. And again, where I had my tweezers, and if you have a white edge or something on the edge of it, it's easier to hold and not get it on the face of it. Like you saw with my sentiment. Okay, so we're all nice and shiny. But I mean, it's just seconds that it takes for it to set. Just give it a few seconds and you'll be good. And then again, you want to put all of your product back in the jar. Super easy. Lots of wow factor. And you can build up your stash. They have all sorts of embossing powders, guys. And I think this close to my heart still has embossing powders, don't they, Judy? Don't they still have the Rangers? They come in all different kinds, guys. These are like speckled. They have glitter in them and specks. They kind of look, when you do, ooh, that one's open. This is lavender, and then I have a lemon drop. But they kind of look like speckled eggs. If you do like a large area, they're really cool. I just cleaned all that off and then got it right up on my surface. Nuvo also has some, and it's extra fine. I love the Nuvos. I like the Ranger. You can get them in glitters. This is just a sample size that come in my subscription, so I keep those as well. Then you have your metallics. You have whites and pearls and just black glitter. There are just many options. You have all sorts of colors. When you use the clear inks, you can use any color. Just like with stamping, if you use the clear inks, you can use any color. You can use black inks and use just about any color. I'm just getting this out before I get all my glue and stuff going. You can use just about any ink color that is pigmented ink with your clears. So you can get white ink to go on dark surfaces. There is a white. Do they still have the Daisy, Judy? The Daisy white pigment ink at Close to My Heart for dark, for stamping on your dark cardstocks and embossing. Just going to try to get some of that powder I spilled out of here. I apologize. I made a mess right before I got started, didn't I? I didn't know that jar was loose. I'm glad I discovered it before it leaked out everywhere. Get rid of it. Yeah, it's like sand, so you'll know. That's why I say don't have your mats down here. You don't want your mats in case you spill some powder like I did. I'm going to start with my base, and I just had my Cricut write the Happy Easter in there. I did not emboss that. And then we're going to take this panel. And I used the sliced strawberry hybrid ink in Nuvo here, because it was close to my pink on this print and cut cardstock. And we're just going to put that panel right on top of this card. Get that lined up. Then you're going to take your second color or pattern, and I'm using the polka dots in the mint on this. This was, by the way, Pinterest inspired. It was an old card, and I really liked the look of it, and I said, that's going to go perfect with that paper we just bought. So I snagged it. I snagged their idea and then made it my own. They had different bunnies, but I used some from Design Space. And then I made the little pieces here. And to make it easy to line those pieces up and get them centered, I cut holes in this piece. Instead of flatten, you can flatten the squares to this and do that too. If you want to. I think I left them in there with subtract. I don't know. You'll have to check. If you can subtract. If I left it on subtract, you can subtract it and just flatten your color to it and the edge. Flatten the whole piece down and just have 2 panels here instead of 3. That's up to you. But I liked that dimension it gave with 3. That's so pretty. All right, we got all that glued down. Now come these little guys. I got a Chad here. Get rid of that. All right, now let's put our bunnies on before, so that we don't get them mixed up and get them in the wrong spot. So I'm just going to glue my little bunnies down. And these are kind of stiff now, like hard plastic, because that is kind of a plastic that we put on them. You're just going to glue them on their frames. I welded in the bunnies on the frame so that it would be easy for you guys to line them up and give it dimension rather than flattening it to that. I wanted it to be a little bit thicker and give it some more dimension. And that's why I did it this way. But if you rather just flatten it right to this and skip this step and just emboss from there, and I missed a spot on my embossing right there. See if I can heat it up and fix it. If you have any little rough spots on there, it means you didn't get your embossing powder melted in that area. I think I fixed it. So that's all you need. These are so stinking cute. All right. And you can put these in any order that you want. I did this one. I think I might do the carrot at the top on this one. Totally up to you. And now, and that's why I said keep these away from your powders and your embossing bag and all of that kind of stuff. You don't want the powders on those. And where did my Zots go? I feel discombobulated today after missing yesterday. I don't know why. Oh, I forgot. You can also get stamps that have your original artwork. These are really cool, embossed on the back. I may do that before we go. I may put that on the back so you guys can see that. And I'm just using some, these are the thin foam dots from, again, you guessed it, Judy, close to my heart. If you have numbers, I don't have any numbers. But I do have Judy. Judy's link is on my link tree. If you guys need her, she is on there. Or if you already have a consultant, then use yours. That's great too. And then just line these up. The square is a little bit bigger than the opening. Not much, but just a little. I don't glue it down. I wanted it to have that dimension. Okay? If you want to glue yours, I guess you can. It won't hurt anything. And on this one, I'm just using a big one and two smaller ones, just so he doesn't sag. Oops, left the dot. Okay, super cute. I may glue the frames down. I may go back and glue those down. I don't know yet. I haven't decided. I didn't do it on the other one. I tried at one, but there was a miscut on this one. I forgot to make my cutout smaller, so that's why that one is wonky. That was my practice card for you guys too, so I wasn't concerned about it. Your file should be correct. And I've got my little gingham bow here. I'm just going to use a Zot. How stinking cute is that? Love. All right, so let's let me get that back. Where did that clear go? So I'm going to ink this up. Hopefully I won't ruin the card. This is just in one of those like $2 packs from Michael's. I think it was Michael's. Might have been Hobby Lobby or who knows. I haven't stamped in a while. My stamping skills have suffered. Not too bad. I have to clean my stamps up too. So I got that stamped without a MISTI. I know I'm out of practice on that. that Misty spoiled us. If I hadn't had all my decor on there, I could have gone back. Okay, and now I can show you exactly why you should use your embossing bag. Oh well. That just proves it's handmade, right? So it's, see how I had all that powder out around here? If you use that embossing bag, then it will only stick to the ink and not to the rest of it. That's what that anti-static does, okay? It keeps it from doing that. I'm okay with it. We're going to call it Tim Holtz Inspired. What is the pound paper I'm using? This is 80 pounds, just like Cricut cardstock. This is the Park Lane white from this is the Park Lane white in the multicolor packs from Joann's. It is not the smooth cardstock. It is the textured cardstock. They also have 110 pound. So you have all different sorts. About the only time I use a 65 pound, I'm just going to throw this out here. About the only time I use a 65 pound cardstock is when I'm doing rolled flowers, or I have several panels and maybe I'm using a heavy base and I don't need the card to be that heavy and bulky. Let's say I use foil craft board on this piece here, and then I had 2 other layers. I might consider using 65 pound here to lighten it up, because I want a substantial card, but I don't want it to be so rigid, if that makes sense, and heavy. Because a greeting card, it depends on the type of greeting card. I want it to feel like a Hallmark card and not a box from Hallmark. Does that make sense? Now, when I'm doing boxes, yeah, I'm going to go heavy. I like to use that craft board in 110s and 80s. The larger the box, the heavier I like to go. I never make a box with 65 pound. Never. Never. Never, 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 ever, never, no matter what size, never, ever. For what I print right on this, Joyce. Cricut cardstock, print right on it. 80 pound solid core. I occasionally will use a white core, but it's rare. I'm not a fan of white core paper. Unless I like to use the Close to My Heart white core when I'm doing an embossing folder and I emboss a piece of paper and then I want to lightly sand over it to make the white core pop out from the color. That's a technique that I plan to teach you guys if you're interested. But that's about the only time I use a white core paper. And Close to My Heart papers are great for that because they've got two-tone. I guess that's what you call it. Maybe Judy can explain it better. If I had a piece close by, it's across the room. Close to My Heart, like their pink paper, will be a darker pink on one side and a lighter pink on the other, but it's very minute. It's like one shade different. So that is why I like their white core paper, is because I can get 2 colors out of one sheet and do a card with it. That way I have the light if I want to do a lighter panel as in the back and then do the darker panel on top and sand off my embossing. that gives me that three-tone look. Does anybody have any questions about the embossing? Isn't he pretty? I love it. I miss using some of these things. So I'm a little bit out of practice, but we'll get back into practice doing those. Where did I get the stamp for the back? This was in a kit. I think it was from Michael's. But Judy, does Close to My Heart still have the handcrafted stamps? I know they have a set that has like designed by, created by, handmade by. They have those stamps. I don't know if Stampin' Up! Does or not, but I know that Close to My Heart has one because I have it. But this one is a wood stamp that I think I picked it up on a clearance for like $1. But they have different ones. Let's take a look and see. Let me pop over. Let's go Close to My Heart. Trying to think of where it might be on here, if they have it anymore. Maybe. There's the mini albums. Oh, nope. Nope, nope, nope. They have a really cute set if it's still available. I mean, I bought mine a while back, but I'm pretty sure they would, if they don't have that set, they would have replaced it with a set. I apologize, my doggies. Did we lose Judy? Yes, Loretta, they do. Sometimes you might have to change your sandwich on them, but I've used mine in it. Let's see. See if they have the craft set. Maybe I should have typed handmade. There you go. Right there. This is their new set. I don't have this one yet. Made by me, to and from. You're going to love this where you can sign it. So that one's cute. Yours is barking at mine. Yes, that one can be tough, Loretta. It can be really, really tough on that one. You want to stay away from the 3Ds. If you have the Texture Boutique, it will take your Doris folders, it will take your regular Sizzix, some of your Cuddlebugs, but your really thick folders like the 3D folders, those can be tricky in the Texture Boutique. They're still waiting on the white. Okay, so the Daisy White pigment ink is out of stock. Okay, And this is the new handmade stamp. Am I correct, Judy? They don't have the old set anymore. I got mine a while back. It's probably been a couple of years. Yeah, the Texture Boutique will not. I mean, I even the texture, the not knocking the Texture Boutique, but it is finicky. But that being said, those 3D embossing folders, I had to figure out sandwiches and all of that kind of stuff with my Big Shot Pro on those, and even with my spellbinders. So they can be a little bit tricky on from those. So stay away from the 3Ds if you have a Texture Boutique, or consider upgrading your embossing machine. Let's see. I don't know if they have that. They do have one that's $149. And that's not too bad. Depends on what you're looking for. I went with the Spellbinders because I wanted to do the hot glimmer foils. I know you got embossing folders. Let's see. These are not the 3Ds. Am I correct, Judy? These are not 3Ds. These should work fine in the texture. I have to think if I... And then there's an extra adapter for the slim lines. And they do have the embossing ink pens too, if you want to get them from Close to My Heart. They don't have the black one in there, but they do have the clears in all 3 tips. And this is the superfine white. There's your Versa ink mark, and then there's your anti-static pouch. Very important to have that. But you can use a dryer sheet. It won't work as well, but you can use a dryer sheet. You can use cornstarch or a baby powder. I just find that the bag is just more convenient. You haven't used your Cuttlebug, Janet? Well, break it out because we're going to be doing some of that. Judy, the handmade by stamp. I know there's the one I found. They used to have one that said designed by. Is that one no longer available? I'm pretty sure mine was from years ago. And our other question, Judy, was, do the embossing folders work with the Texture Boutique? Do you know if those Close to My Heart embossing folders will work with it? The Sizzix Texture Boutique. I do have a Sizzix link, by the way, Loretta, on the link tree. So I know that if you stay away from the 3Ds, the other Sizzix should work. And it should tell you on the site if the Texture Boutique will work or not with them. Let's see. I can get some stuff out of my way if I can find that, so that you know which one I'm talking about. I know it's in here because I pulled it out and I said, why didn't I use that? No, that's the No Shaking for Christmas. Halloween. I might have stuck it in another drawer too. Who knows? Maybe I can find it. If I can find, there's close to my heart. I think this one was Business Builders. I don't think that was it. But it did say designed by and all of that good stuff, and I don't remember which one it was. But I was wanting the number off of it so that maybe they could find one used from eBay or Etsy or something like that. Because, guys, you can also check all of those discontinued older ones. You can find them sometimes if you miss one from that. I can't find it. It's my elf. Stamps and dies. These are my close to my hearts. Close to my hearts. They come in the pouches. They're very, very, very nice sets, guys. Oh no, that one just says, see, this one's for my father, and it has made with love by and the date and age. There's just all sorts of different ones that you can get. Some of these are just stamps. Some are stamps and die sets. They come with coordinating dies. But sometimes I just use the stamps on let my Cricut do the cutting, and I do just stamps. That's not it. I'm sorry, guys. I thought I could find it. I will look for it, and I will get a number, and then you can go and search for eBay or somewhere like that on that set. Because I'm pretty sure that it's discontinued. I just saw it last night. That's what... kind of weird, but I can't find it all of a sudden. I had my hot little hands on it last night. Because I was going to use it, and then I decided not to. There's no pecan. Outdoor borders. Rainbow Bridge. Peacocks. Happiness Blooms. That's not it. That's my sympathy ones. That just makes me so mad. I wanted to give you guys the number. The golf cart went by. Our maintenance guys use a golf cart. These are cute. This one, you guys can look. This is called, let me show you how Business Builders. This is D1785. And it has a thanks for your support, and thank you for supporting my business. Da 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 da. This was for close to my heart demonstrators, but sometimes you can find them on eBay if you look. That is not it. Hey, Babs. I'm trying to find a stamp. We've already done our project and everything, and we're just kind of chatting, and I don't have hardly anything else to do today. Try to make up some time I lost with you guys yesterday. That's a big set. I know it's in here. I don't like to give up. Not easily, anyway. Embellish. Okay. Well, I will look for it, guys. I will see if I can find it. I have to give up. It's not in this stack. I have another stack. Almost the same size. No. I know, right? Did you guys have any other questions on the Celebrate one I used? This is an old one too, was Sending Smiles. This is called the Cricut bundle. D1708. You might be able to find it on eBay. All right. Now here we go. Ask me how. Oh, I bet it's in here somewhere. I found it. I found it. I found it. See if you guys can see that. This one is A1086. It's called the Angel Policy. So if you can find it on eBay, it's a really cute set. I don't know if the camera's going to pick it up here. I did use that one. It says original artist, and then it has close to my heart, but you can block that out. And made from the heart by original artwork. And then right here it has a little heart and designed by, and then a dotted line. And you could always, guys, if you don't want to do the stamps, you can do it in your Cricut and have your Cricut write it. I have done that. They don't have those anymore. Yeah, they might find them at a yard sale or on eBay, something like that. But let's see. Let's go over. I know I did this once before. If you're not writing on the inside of your card and you're going to use a piece of vellum, let's just say that we put Happy Easter on a piece of vellum here, okay, rather than having it go right to the inside of the card. Let me ungroup. Well, ungroup, please. I don't know why I'm having to hit mine 2 and 3 times, but it's starting to annoy me. So let me change this piece to a basic cut. And let's just say that I was going to do this on a piece of vellum, really light, and detach my Happy Easter. Oh, I don't like that edge scaling. I just did it. Almost messed up my project. See, something is going on here. It's not letting me select it without. Not happy with that edge scaling in that last update. Align, center that horizontally, and then attach. So I'm going to be putting my sentiment on vellum. That leaves, and this on the front, so that leaves my card base free for me to put something on the back. So I can go in and I can get text, or I think there's even images. Yeah, see, you have these handmade by, things like this. Let's go and see if we have draw onlys or cut and draw. Right here, you can do that one. You can make your own. There was another one in here, or used to be, I thought. Handmade with Love, right here. That's a pen. So you can go in and you can use that, or you can create your own. This one is like a to and from tag, and I just take the base off of it. But you can come in here and change this to any color that you want, and change it to your extra fine pen in black, and then size that down for the back of the card. And I've showed you guys before how to put your base on there and align it. I think this was a 5 inches wide, where you align it to the right, align it to the top, arrange, move it backward, and then you can get your sentiment or your handmade by, align it to the center horizontally, get rid of that piece, and then attach it. So now it will write to the back of your card, and then your vellum will go to the inside front, and then this will go on the front. So as long as you're using something for your sentiment inside, then you can write on the back of the card as well. Or you can use your 2x2 mats and write on the inside and then write on the outside. So 2x2 mats have an advantage when you're doing this, because you can put a sentiment. You can put this piece in, duplicate it, detach that, and then put your sentiment to the inside. And actually only cut one, or it will already have your base cut actually. Arrange, bring it to the front. So what I would do is do this one and let it cut, and then go to a 2x2 mat and let it write on the back of it. That's the way I would do that. If you want to skip the vellum piece. There's lots of ways to trick. Okay, Diana. Lots of ways to trick your Cricut and get the same finished look that you want, especially now that we have the 2x2 mats and stuff like that. Yes, Loretta. Not for the Joy. The 2x2 mat for your regular machines. You can't do it on a Joy. You have to go to a A2 size for the Joy card mat. But your 2x2 mats, yes. R4, are they R? I don't know what their size is. It's a little bit bigger than a. It's an odd size. It's a R40. Let's go to insert cards, not card insert. So you have, those are the Joy ones. Make it easy, R40. So you've got like your R40 right here. You have R40 right here. So that is going to be 475 by 66. So you can bump it down and get it on there. What was the number of that access image? The handmade but with love. M251 E like Echo 23 Frank F. Let's see if I can type it in. Let me pull over here so I can. It is hashtag M. Oops. 251E 23F. All right. Thank you guys for joining me. I enjoyed doing an extended YouTube with you guys here on Friday. Don't forget, Miss Rita and I are going to collaborate tomorrow. I believe it's 6 p.m. Eastern Time, but don't quote me on that. Reach out to Miss Rita and get that link from her, and she will let you know where she's posting it. If you can follow Miss Rita on Patreon, even if you're not a subscriber, you can still follow her over there or become a subscriber. But she said that it wasn't going to be subscriber-based, so you don't have to be a supporter, and you'll be able to get the information off Miss Rita to the rescue on Patreon. We're going to have some fun. We're just going to be silly and have fun. Why not? Yeah, Mama Bear, the last part of it, we're just talking and going over materials and things like that and looking for different ideas between stamps and embossing, because like we said, we're doing some changes and we're going to start incorporating some of our crafts that we used to do by hand in with our Cricut, because honestly, I really miss being able to cut my images and do my print and cuts and then just kind of punching them up with other things in my craft room. So I really, really, really love it. Yes, you can. There's Stamps of Life, and I think that they may be, Linda, I think I may have an affiliate with them. I have used them, so you can get customized personal stamps. I even got one that was like $5 done years ago that says my crafting with April. It has a little rubber logo. It's a rubber wood stamp. I use it frequently. Usually I can find it right off the bat, but today I'm having one of those days. You know, when you rearrange a bunch of stuff and you haven't gotten used to it yet, that's where I'm at. That's what's wrong. That is exactly what's wrong with me. I did rearranging. I forgot I rearranged everything and reorganized, and that's why I can't find stuff. It's not that I've misplaced it. I'm just not used to it. But yeah, I got like a $5 custom stamp made for the stamp on the back of the cards. So you have several options. You can stamp it. You can have your Cricut do it. It's all in what you want to put into it. How much time do you want to spend on it? If you want to do just a really quick, fast card, then you probably want to use your Joy or use your pen and Cricut and call it done. But if you want to punch it up to that next level, spend a little bit more time on it, then yeah. Because when you spend more time on it and things like that, then you get more requests and it can become sellable. So take it to the next level. Yeah, I have a little bitty square, like 1-inch stamp for the back of my cards. And I usually have it like right here on my desk. And I use it on cards that I have sold or special giveaways. And now it's going to drive me nuts that I don't know where it's at. But I know I have it here. I know. It doesn't ever get far away from me. All right, guys. Thanks for joining me. Catch you tomorrow with Miss Rita on that Zoom. And after that, we will be live on Tuesday. What do we have? Memorial Day. You guys have a happy Memorial Day. If I forget to tell you tomorrow, President's Day. It's not Memorial Day. What am I thinking? President's Day. Which stamp? Let's see. Welcome back. You did get that stamp from Michael's. Do you know what the name of it was? Joyce, did you catch the name of it? This one? Let's see. Let me get back over there. If you know the name of it, I'll look it up and show you guys real quick. Or an item number. I gotta clean this off. I don't want to flip it over. Let's see. They have several. Maybe round. Maybe if I search round. Nope. Nope, 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 nope. Okay. Getting close. Getting close, getting close. Maybe it's by area. You didn't happen to see the search number or the item number? Let's see if I type in 100%. 100% handmade. Still keeps giving me that same stinking one. It's not the one I want. And I certainly didn't pay those for them. That's for sure. Handmade. Original. Maybe take set out. Round maker wood stamps. Let's see. Yay! There it is. Item number 106852280. Let me see if I can copy and paste that for you guys that want it. That's the item number. That's the one I used. Yeah, $1.99. There you go. Boom. Perfect. And that way you can always have it right there on your desk and stamp every card. You don't have to worry about getting it on the inside. You're eliminating your writing to the inside of the card and then doing the back as well. You don't have to fight it because you can simply just stamp it. Boom. Yeah, you can get the handmade items too. Like I said, you can spend what you want to spend on these stamps that have your name on them. You can do the custom ones, and that's not if you get one for under 15 bucks, that's and you're going to use it all the time, it's well worth it. Or you may want to opt for a smaller size that has less wording on it and get one for 5 bucks, or like use this one that doesn't and just $1.99, and it just shows that it's originally handmade. So you can spend what you want on stamps for sure. But I miss stamping. I love it. One thing that I do recommend, and because it has simplified my life so much when I stamp cards, um, is the Misty. It will spoil you from the acrylic blocks and or wood block stamping, but if you get a misprint, you can ink it up again and put it right back on there. And I love it because I like to stamp on textured cardstock rather than smooth. And so it has saved me so many times. Um, so a Misty or some type of stamping tool is awesome. If you can find one for less than what the Misty is, I would go for it. The Misty is all in a name, but the Tim Holtz one is just as good, in my opinion. It's a little, you can take and swap the Tim Holtz one around, and they make several sizes of the Misties. But if you like to make 5x7 cards, I would at least get the one that I have. I think mine's 11 inches or something like that. No, mine's the 6x8. I got the 6x8, whatever size that is, because I like to do 5x7 cards. You have both, Mary Lou? I did, but one of mine is gone. This one was in a plastic tote, so I didn't lose it. I don't know where the other one was, but I wasn't able to salvage a big box of stuff, so it could have been in that one. You have the one from Stampin' Up, Linda? Yeah. Linda, do you do Stampin' Up? I know Amanda does. If you do Stampin' Up, if you want to give them your link, I don't mind. Or if you want to give it to me, I'll add it to my non-affiliate links. You have a couple of different brands. Yeah, I think We Are made one. We Are Memory Keepers, they made one. Or Memory Makers now. We Are Memory Makers. They have one. Tim Holtz has one. Misty. And if I'm not mistaken, Fiskars did one. Didn't Fiskars do one? Because I looked at it at the store and I was like, nah, I don't think so. But okay. No problem, Linda. But I do have a link for Stampin' Up if you guys want to check out the Stampin' Up stamping tool. It is an awesome tool. So I did see theirs and I was like, shoot, if I didn't have a Misty. Yeah, right, Marianne. We forget. I have tested several, and I always went back to the Misty. And I don't know if it's because I paid so much for it way back when it first came out, and that's why I'm partial to it. I think that that's probably a lot to do with it. It's not that I'm stuck with that brand, because I'm not. I think it's just that I paid such a great amount for it that I find it hard to use anything else. I have to warrant the price I paid for it. So that's why you'll see me recommend that one. But any stamping tool that works for you, if you're an acrylic block person or a wood block person, go for that, because you saw me today, I still like some of my wood blocks. And I still like my acrylics occasionally when I don't want to break out the MISTI. All right, guys, I've had fun. Yay. I'm glad you guys stuck with me today. Happy Friday. Go out there. Have a great weekend. See you tomorrow on Miss Rita's Zoom. And then I will see you on Tuesday. Oh, good idea, Irma. And also, guys, if you want a MISTI, check out eBay where somebody's selling something that maybe they got used, or your thrift stores or yard sales. Check those out. You can find stuff like that where people just decide they don't want to do it anymore, or stamping's not for them anymore, and they just unload all of that stuff. So check around. If you're not in a rush, you can use an acrylic block until you run up on a good deal. There's no rush in getting it. All right, guys. Catch you later. Thank you.